I'm John Carrington.
And I'm Christina Hill.
Welcome to Top of the Morning.
Yes, and our topic today is women in power.
Yeah, people like Nancy Pelosi and Bernice Sanders, just wonderful women who happen to be worthy of notice.
Okay, well, we have a great show for you today, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
USS Constellation. There's a grand lady in Baltimore who has taken her rightful place as the Inner Harbor's crown jewel in the heart of the Chesapeake Bay. Launched in 1854, a newspaper account from the day of her launch reported that there were 8 pieces of the original frigate Constellation contained within her timbers.
Into the 1860s, and you are back in time on the Constellation, learning what it was like to be here.
Hey, welcome back. I'm John Carrington.
And I'm Christina Hill with another episode of Top of the Morning.
What are we talking about today?
Our topic today is women in power, like Nancy Pelosi.
Pelosi. I know her. In fact, I owe her. And hey, we have a clip. Let's take a look at this.
My name is Jill Tejan. I'm Vice President of the Board of Directors of the National Women's Hall of Fame. And induction, every time it's held, is such a wonderful and inspiring and motivational event. So I'm delighted to be here in Seneca Falls, New York, the birthplace of women's rights and the home of the National Women's Hall of Fame.
Good morning. Just fine. I'm Kate Stevenson from the Maryland Women's Heritage Center and from Top of the Morning from Baltimore.
Wonderful.
We are so thrilled and we want to congratulate you for this award, and tell us how you were feeling with your grandchildren and children seeing what you've accomplished.
Well, I'm thrilled about that because it's really important for them to know of the courage of the women at Seneca Falls. It's the birthplace of women's rights, and I think they would take great pride in learning more about it. I am myself personally thrilled to be getting this award. I thank Beth and Beverly, co-presidents of the Hall of Fame, for this wonderful honor, and I'm pleased to be joining so many wonderful other inductees today. That's really making it even more thrilling. But as far as Maryland is concerned, that's where I was born and raised, and one of our colleagues from Maryland will be here, Congresswoman Donna Edwards. She'll be coming up when Congress has adjourned and they're on their way. We thought there might be more activity, but
we want to invite you to the Maryland Women's Heritage Center when you get back to Maryland.
Thank you for the invitation. Anytime. I'd love to do that. That's easy from D.C. Thank you.
Well, much love from Maryland and Baltimore.
Thank you. Appreciate
Well,
you
we're
being.
so glad you're all here this morning, and so we thank you for coming, and we're delighted to have the leader as one of our inductees this year. So
President of Clean Energy and Innovation. During her many years of service, she has worked tirelessly to increase the number of women in public service, and through her leadership, she has paved the way for many more women to enter politics. For your pioneering service as the first woman Speaker of the United States House of Representatives and the first woman in American history to lead a major political party in Congress, Nancy Pelosi, you are inducted into the National.
Thank you very much for that generous testimonial. Thank you, Beverly. Thank you, Beth, for your leadership. I want to thank Ellen Middleberger for nominating me for this wonderful honor. And I accept it with love and gratitude to my family, to my husband, Paul Pelosi, my husband of 50 years this September. As well as men being respected. It's about diversity of opinion. It's about changing the environment. So these women are there to make it happen. We want their numbers to grow and increase. I wanted them to be here to honor the Women's Hall of Fame by saying to you, what you are doing is important by recognizing women and by paying our respects to the other honorees as well. Thank you so much.
Wow, wasn't that clip great?
It was. It captured the true Nancy Pelosi. I mean, that's her.
Yes,
That's who she
introduced
is.
him into the Hall of Fame. That was amazing.
She deserves to be there.
And
I think what we'll do is give her some applause right now.
okay, John, we're gonna take a break and we'll be right back.
Okay.
Today's show is Women in Power with Brooke Learman, a young and upcoming politician.
Upcoming politicians. Brooke Learman. You're never too young to go into politics. Let's take a look.
Is Brooke Learman, and she is a candidate for state delegate.
I am. Thank you very much, Jerry. It's great to be here on a beautiful day in the Inner Harbor of Baltimore.
Now, you're also a civil rights attorney.
I am. I actually work just a few blocks from here at a firm called Brown, Goldstein & Levy. We're a mid-sized civil rights litigation firm, and I represent low-wage workers, people with disabilities, and I also represent community groups pro bono all around the city.
How long have you been, how did you actually get involved in that? Whatever made you decide to become a lawyer?
To become a lawyer? Well, you know, I did a lot of organizing after college. I did a lot of political organizing, working with people, and I've always been very interested in empowering people and working with people to make sure that, you know, their rights are vindicated. And eventually I decided the best way to really empower people would be to go to law school. Okay. So while I was in law school, I was fortunate to be involved with a number of professors and clinics where I was able to do workers' rights and fair housing law, and decided, wow, you know, this is some place where I can really make a difference, and that's why I decided to get into it.
Is that sort of thing very prevalent in the Baltimore area?
There are a number of practitioners. Our firm, Brown, Goldstein & Levy, has been doing it for over 25 years. We represent the National Federation of the Blind, which is based in South Baltimore, and we also take on individual cases as well. And we'd love to hear from anybody. You can also email us at info, @brookelearman.com. But we look forward to hearing from folks, and I'd love people to get involved. You know, we have Election Day is just around the corner, June 24th, so please contact us, get involved, and I'd love your vote on June 24th.
And while you're all checking out that website and signing up to volunteer, we're going to take another short break, and we'll be right back.
My name is Brooke Learman. I'm running for state delegate in District 46. I'm running because I love Baltimore City. I live in Fells Point with my husband and son. As a parent, I share the aspirations of other parents that they have for their children, that the school that they send their kids to will be the best available, and the neighborhood that they live in will be safe and clean and green so that their kids have a safe place to play. As a community activist, I share the frustrations and also the small triumphs that community activists have had all over the city as they're working to make our city a better place for everyone to live. And I've represented working Baltimoreans and working Marylanders who are struggling to feed their families on minimum wage every day. I've represented individuals who have been kept out of housing or kept out of jobs because of past mistakes they've made. And I've represented students with disabilities who just want to be treated as equals to their peers. Because of this, because I'm a parent, because I'm a community activist, because of my work as a civil rights attorney, I know and I understand the challenges that are facing our city and state. I've represented people on an individual level and at a community level, and now I want to fight for our individuals, families, and communities at the state level. A lot of people run for office so that they can hold a job. I'm running for office so that I can do the job. I want to do the job every day of fighting for Baltimore and fighting for our communities and families in Annapolis. That's why I hope that voters around District 46 will choose to elect me as one of their 3 state delegates on June 24th.
Wow, wasn't that interesting? Now let's talk about the next woman in power, General Singh.
General Singh, a female general?
Yes, I think she's actually in charge of a lot of the, I think the Air Force in Maryland.
Air Force.
And I think the Army as well.
Okay.
I think she's involved more in Maryland area though.
Well, that's great. I tell you, we need to see how many women are in the military and making a mark.
Yes.
Let's take a look at this.
Yes.
Good afternoon. I'm Diana Bailey from the Maryland Women's Heritage Center, and congratulations to Major General Linda Singh for your induction tonight in the Maryland Women's Hall of Fame. That's very exciting.
It is. Thank you.
Thank you for taking time to talk with us. It's not every day that I get to meet a Major General, so please tell me how you got into this career. Tell me about yourself as it relates to your military career and your leadership in the military.
Absolutely. So I never intended on joining the military when I was growing up. I really didn't know a lot about the military. And what got me into this is that I happened to be working in the mall in Frederick, Maryland. And at the time I was homeless. So I was kind of sleeping here and there. I had already quit school, and because I was trying to take care of myself.
How old were you then, may I ask?
I was 16 at the time, and I happened to run across a Maryland National Guard recruiting booth, and I started talking to them. I don't know what made me stop, but it was just one of those things. And the next thing I knew is that I was taking the test.
The Harford County delegation would like to present this citation to Major General Singh for her work and her contributions to our community at Aberdeen Proving Grounds. So thank you and congratulations and for your induction to the Maryland Women's Hall of Fame. Well worth it, and I'm not sure where the citation it is. It is here somewhere.
Thank you so much, Danny. I appreciate that. And first, I would like to say thank you to the Women's Commission, because this is truly an honor. And, Turhan, where are you at, Turhan? So, thank you. And what, a lot of you don't know that, Turhan has been telling me for years, probably since I was a lieutenant or captain, I can't remember when. Every time he would see me, he said, there's something else in your future. You need to keep doing it. There's something else in your future. It's things like this that gives me the drive to keep going. And then I also want to talk about one of our NCOs, because I can't go without talking about an NCO that's in our audience. And this young lady, Sergeant Johnson, you got to stand up. Whoa. But what's interesting is I'm in 3, so private first class, and she was one of my cooks. And she took care of me every single time, from year after year after year. And so when I think about what it means for me to be able to get this award and to be an honoree, it's really not about me. It's about them, and it's about the future. So my hat's off to you all. I salute you. Thank you, and God bless.
Wow, I learned a lot more about General Singh that I didn't know. And now let's take a break.
All right. Hey, welcome back. And I noticed you have Kathy Hughes on the list there.
Yes, she started Radio 1.
Radio 1.
Yes.
She's a wonderful woman in the industry of media and broadcasting and communications. She owns radio stations and TV stations all across America. A wonderful lady. Hey, I want to look at what she did. This guy's
Hello everyone, welcome back to Spotlight, and I'm Makita Kane, and I had the honor and a blessing to be here with Miss Kathy Hughes, who is the legend of today. Pretty much everything here today is all about Miss Kathy Hughes. She's been a pioneer and an iconic figure for our community for years. She's done so many things as an entrepreneur and just a trendsetter for us to look up to as a community, and I'm just honored just to hear her speak today.
So today, I'm not going to do much speaking. They're going to unveil my wax figure to go in the Great Blacks and Wax Museum, which I've been supporting since before they had a museum. That's how long I've been with the Martin family. Elmer was a great friend, big supporter of my company, and to watch his, widow be able to continue their mission, because certainly this started with the two of them carrying these little wax figures to their classrooms to teach inner city youth about the greatness of the Black experience, and I thought that was so wonderful. And now no one comes to visit me that doesn't get to go to the Great Blacks and Wax Museum, so to have a wax figure of me in the museum is such a blessing and such an honor. It really humbles me.
And yes, that's so amazing, and it's just like, that's where you deserve to be, because all the things that you accomplished over the years, it's just like for the things that people would think is impossible. You started out with just you and your son, and like, could you tell us something about your adventure through all of these years?
Well, I was pregnant at 16 and mama at 17, and a lot of folks thought that that meant that I would be a statistic. And so with my child, and I was determined that they would be wrong. And the greatest blessing has been that my son, not only was I able to rear him into successful manhood, but he now runs my company. That's right. And is my business partner. Although I tease him, I don't know how he became my partner. I thought he worked for me. But anyway, some type of way I impacted my son's life. I've impacted another woman's life. And that's very important to me. Yes, you have. I wasn't blessed with any girls.
Oh, wow. That's so amazing, and I thank you once again for being here with us today. Thank you everyone for joining us on Spotlight. We'll be right back.
One of our hosts, Makita. Makita did a good job on that one. Boy, I think she's gonna take my spot. Okay, all right. Anyway, let's not talk about me. We're gonna take a break. We'll be right back with more.
People come on board and they get touched by this walking through history that they're able to do, and they're able to see the hammocks and see the officer's wardroom and sit in the captain's cabin.
And perfect for children, the other for adults. Plus, there's the ever popular Powder Monkey Tour for kids, and hands-on adult tours like A Ship as a Machine and Black Sailors in Navy Blue. Groups can also come aboard and sling their hammocks in our overnight program or host special events. But it's the Sloop of War Constellation that's here in Baltimore today, and the Chesapeake Bay has always been central to her story.
Okay, welcome back. I'm excited to share with you the godmother of Title IX, Bernice Sanders, who just got into the Hall of Fame.
Okay, she got women equal right and equal financing in athletics in college. That is so wonderful.
That is amazing. We need more females in the athletic
arena and treated fairly. I mean, the funding doesn't have to always go to the football team. How about that female lacrosse team that won a championship at the University of Maryland this year? I mean, it's so important that we fund our female athletes at the same levels that we fund some of our male teams.
Yes.
Now, let's take a look at this.
On behalf of the Maryland Women's Heritage Center, Linda Shevitz, Jill Moss Greenberg, and all the women from Maryland, we are so proud of you.
Oh, I am proud of them because I know what they have done, and they do a lot of tremendously good work and hard work.
But you have been our leader through all of the wonderful Title IX programs that you have really pushed forward in the laws and so on.
Yeah, it takes a lot of people to do it, and you pass a law, and it's great. But there've got to be people who then push to get that law enforced, and that's what those women are doing and have been doing for years. And without them, Title IX is not as good as it would be, as it could be.
How do you feel looking back on the struggle?
When Title IX was passed, we did not know how important it was. We knew about discrimination in admissions, in graduate schools. We really didn't know much about vocational guidance in high schools, but we really had no idea of the extent of discrimination. In 1970, when the hearings are held, and in 1972, Title IX is passed, there's not even the word sexism. There's no word for sexual harassment. There's no word for acquaintance rape, all of which are covered in educational institutions. And so we saw the scope of Title IX as somewhat smaller than it ended up being. Athletics was not an oversight. We knew it was going to cover athletics. And my idea of how it would cover athletics was, many people know what play day is or field day. They cancel classes and have relay races and activities. And my idea, I remember saying to someone, so on play day, you know what this means? There's going to be more activities for girls. We had no idea of the impact because no one had ever done a study on what the data was, what it would look like. And where I used to work at the Association of American Colleges and Universities, we did the first report on sex discrimination in collegiate athletics in 1973. This was right after Title IX was passed. We could find no data at all. All we had was a huge list of horrible anecdotes.
From Jill and Linda Shevitz and the women at the Maryland Women's Heritage Center, we thank you so much, and please keep up the great work.
Oh, well, that's what I would say to them, because they're doing the hard work, which is in the field. They need to continue, and I know that they will.
Well, thank you so much. We're
Thank
grateful.
you. Thank you.
So,
I'm just overwhelmed with being here. I want to thank the National Women's Hall of Fame for this remarkable honor, and to my daughters and my grandchildren and other family members and friends and colleagues and cousins for their support during many years. And to my parents, long gone, who taught me many things, including, we didn't know the name for them, but really was about social justice, and also told me to ask questions when things didn't seem right. Add to this, I want to, it's an honor to be included with so many wonderful women who might be there. Title IX was passed in 1972, and many people have said that this is the most important law passed for women and girls since women obtained the right to vote back in 1920. Some people know it has as much impact on the world as the Industrial Revolution has had. It is a revolution that is changing the relationships between men and women in a way that has never before happened in human history. We have only just begun. We have taken the very first faltering steps of a very long journey, and our schools, our colleges, the United States, our country, and the world will never again be the same. Thank you very much.
Wow, man, I'm sure happy she did what she did. I have granddaughters. I got 5 granddaughters. Haven't had a grandson yet. Oh, anyway, let's not talk about me. And our granddaughters are going to have a chance now to go to college and compete on teams. And that's going to be a wonderful experience for me to see.
It's almost the end, and I'm glad to hear about all these women in power. Our last but not least woman is Dr. Claire Perkinson, a scientist at NASA.
Claire Parkinson, the NASA scientist. Wow!
She's in charge of the satellites.
The satellites, all right, so, yeah.
So let's have a look at this clip.
Well, welcome back. We're here with Dr. Claire Parkinson. Claire, we were talking earlier about polar bears and sea ice, and I understand that you've actually been to both the Arctic and the Antarctic.
Yes, indeed. I actually went to the Antarctic first. I went to the Antarctic when I was still a graduate student, and that was thrilling to be able to go. It was actually very unusual for a woman to get to go at that time. It was back in 1973, and almost no women had been to the Antarctic in a research capacity before then. So it was very unusual. I was really pleased to get that chance. I was the only female on the ship going down. I was the only female on the expedition. I was the only female on the island that we were on. We were on an island that's just off Antarctica. It's called Deception Island. It's a volcanic island, and it had erupted a couple of years earlier, and we were looking at the ice that was flowing back into the crater that had erupted a few years earlier, and the leader of the expedition was Terry Hughes. Again, I was a graduate student at the time, so and so then I started working for NASA, And since then, I've been doing work on satellite observations of sea ice and other aspects of the climate system.
That sounds like a great story. We're going to have to take a short break. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Satellites are so valuable to us in terms of showing us where hurricanes are and how they're tracking well before they reach land. Another really valuable aspect is the satellites show fires really well. That's really valuable for the U.S. Forest Service to determine where to deploy firefighters. And one of the things I've really enjoyed doing is getting to write books. Linda had mentioned that I've written several books, and I enjoy both writing them by myself, and the two on the left I did by myself, but I also enjoy working with other people and writing not just the field work, but also science is an attempt to understand something about the world, and if you become a scientist, you actually get paid for doing that. So it's a fantastic career to go into, and there's so many different options if you do go into science as a career.
Hey, welcome back. And Christina, you just proved that you're never too old to do anything in life. Just set your mind to it and do it. I applaud you. I applaud you.
Thank you.
I am so proud of you. Married 15 years, I tell you, and you're only 33 years old. You got married when you were 13
Well,
years old.
no. I've been married for 10 years, but I've been with him for 15
Oh,
years.
okay.
But I have been, even though I wasn't married for 10 years, I still considered a housewife. Right out of high school, I gave up my dreams out of high school to be with the man I love, and then I had a son with Tourette's, and I dedicated my whole life to him. So now I'm ready to start mine.
Well, you're off to a good start.
And I thank you.
Hey, Christine, how can people contact you?
Well, they can contact me with my email, which is khill_1983@yahoo.com. And my name's Christina Hill, so shoot me an email. Thank you. Well, I hope you enjoyed the show today. I know I did.
Well, you know, I enjoyed working with you and, of course, sharing this list of women who are noteworthy.